Brought to you by Raising the Vibe, a nonprofit organization supporting the growth of conscious communities.
Onto iPad. Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Becker with Raising the Vibe. So glad you're all here today. We have a partner presentation, which we do every couple of months, and just have somebody outside of their group that has a specialty in something come share their knowledge with us. So I'm so excited to introduce Lauren Antuofermo. I'm going to have her introduce herself and kind of how she kind of got into this, but she's going to talk to us about crystals, but she has many other modalities, and I think she considers herself an energy alchemist. So with that, Lauren, go ahead and just give a little bit of background on yourself, and we can go from there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, Rebecca. I'm excited to be here. And my name is Lauren Antuofermo, big, long Italian last name, real easy to say. I am an energy worker, and I call myself an energy alchemist or transdimensional shift facilitator. And all that really means to me, it sounds fancier, but Spirit gave me that name, and I was like, really? All that really means to me is that when we work with energy, we transmute anything from a lower frequency to a higher frequency. And so my specialties are actually astrology, because I believe it works in almost from physical, mental, emotional, and creative aspects. I love working with crystals. It was one of my favorites. I'm a Reiki master, and I also do channeling and some mediumship when somebody, has a past loved one come through, but channeling archangels. So I've been able to do that and connect with Archangel Michael, Archangel Ariel, and Archangel Raphael primarily, and Archangel Metatron. And those are the four main angels that I connect with when I channel. And I also do, so when I do readings, it depends on where you are, what you need at that time. And I also do courses on Akashic records and astrology, and readings on those too. And today I'm going to focus on crystals. And what's exciting to me about that is that for the most part, crystals are so versatile. They can be used in so many different ways that they don't have like a specific personality, or like each crystal is unique. Like that's what makes it so versatile. Each crystal has its own, like I would say, personality. But one of the things we're going to talk about today is how you can learn from your crystal how it works with you. So we can have like websites and books and tells you, all right, rose quartz vibrates to the energy of love. And it's pink, and it's for the heart chakra and all those facts. But a specific crystal can actually tell you how it's going to work with your heart chakra, what it actually can do for you. And is anyone here not familiar with using their intuition to get messages or impressions? Does anyone not use their intuition for anything? Okay, good. Yes? Or everybody's, okay, good. I didn't see anybody raise their hand. So that's good. And is anybody completely new to crystals? Like doesn't know anything about them? A little bit? Okay. So we'll start with the basics. Okay. So crystals have been used for a long time. They've always had kind of a vibratory signature. They've been used in science, and it's been proven that their energy can change the electromagnetic field of living beings. Most people, most spiritual people and practitioners say that they actually are alive. They have a certain dimension in Gaia, in the earth. And that dimension is the second dimension. In the second dimension, we have the base elements. And the part of that that's interesting is that these crystals that are buried in the earth have like a crystalline core in the earth. That crystalline core has a vibratory signature that keeps things kind of level at a certain rate of energy. Because that crystalline core is not proven, it's something that we talk about in terms of like Hertz, the Schumann resonance. And scientists have been able to track this Schumann resonance and see it has a base element. And when it goes up and goes down, it actually affects our energy bodies. It's like an electromagnetic field. And so we think of the earth as a living, breathing being. It's alive. It's not just dead material. And so the crystals have that same kind of protective ability. The crystals actually hold a higher frequency and protects Earth from a lot of the negativity that happens. And so this is what is the basis for why we use crystals, not only for the Earth, but for ourselves. And when we discovered, practitioners and even scientists discovered that we can use these for different like elements, even that they are like a crystalline shape. The scientific shape of what makes up a crystal has a specific frequency, and that's what makes them special and different and each unique. And why we say, okay, well, orange calcite is used for this particular thing, and rose quartz is used because each one has a different crystalline makeup, and so they vibrate differently. And so intuitives have taken the crystals and said, okay, this is good for the heart chakra, this is good for your sacral chakra, and it'll help balance your sacral chakra and things like that. And so we have a lot of collections, even online. A lot of people have started digging up more and more crystals and found new ones. There are probably more crystals and types of crystals than you can count. I'm going to stick more or less to the basics today, or at least tell you a little bit about some crystals so you get the idea of how you can use them. Does anybody have any crystals with them right now? Cool. All right, awesome. So I'm glad this will be on. So if you don't, it's okay. And if you want to go grab one, you certainly can. I'm going to show you a little bit of an exercise that you can tune your energy to the crystal so that it works specifically with your heart's guidance. Now, the heart's guidance is where we go for everything. The heart has the most intelligent frequency. And when we tune into the heart, it is mostly intuitive, mostly the abundance that we want, the creativity that we want, anything that we want to heal usually has a frequency that resonates within the heart chakra. And everybody's heart chakra is tuned to their specific role in their life, their specific creativity, their specific DNA. Anything that you need can come through the heart for you. It's specific to you. So your heart is always going to resonate to the highest frequency that you need at any time. So most of what we do with the crystals is balance our energy fields. The crystals themselves aren't like, going in and fixing things. It actually just balances your energy. It will affect your energy. So it's not intelligent enough to do the work for you until you apply intention, until you use your energy to bring in the highest benefit for you. And for me, that always syncs up with the heart. Even if your mind or third eye, you can't pick up on, something perfect, your heart can tune the crystal without you knowing how it's happening, because the heart has its own intelligence. And when the heart is resonating at the level of love, that's what we want to get to before we tune the crystal. So the crystal themselves is a beautiful thing. We can collect them. They look gorgeous on that like whole table. But I have crystals all over the house, all over this room. And I usually set them in places to hold energy. I have a huge rose quartz in the middle of my living room, and I call that the family rock, where we gather over there, and it just holds the vibration of love whenever we're in there. And I really feel that it is the one place where everybody is always settled. When we gather around that, it's in the middle of the coffee table around our couches, and whenever we're there, we literally are always in a good space. Anything else that happens, arguments, frustrations, it always happens around, like outside of that particular area, because I tuned that crystal to our family. I had the intention that it holds us in love and in compassion. And the idea that this sounds very woo is, it could be woo, but if you set an intention for anything, it holds a belief, it holds a frequency. An emotion has a frequency. A belief about that emotion has a frequency. And so anything you tune into that belief is going to resonate with that. And so however you use your crystals is right for you. Your crystalline light body is another thing. So a crystalline light body is what we would call the ascended light body. The ascended light body resonates at a higher frequency than the carbon light body or the carbon body or the 3D body. The light body is what we are tuning into when we use crystals. So crystals can actually help us awaken, can help us bring more light into our physical bodies so that we transmute any lower frequencies. And when you transmute any lower frequencies, you're not trying to get rid of something or, you know, release something from you. You're literally just tuning into a higher frequency so that whatever does need to be released from you can be released with love rather than guilt, shame, fear, pain, overwhelm, or anxiety. And so that's why they're a good help for the energy body. And they can also be great tools for meditation, amazing tools for meditation. So the first, we'll do the exercise a little bit later, but does anybody have any questions right now? Cool. Okay. So the other thing about crystals that makes it fun is that you can create grids with them. Now, these are things that you can look up, but grids have a specific vibration. You use different crystals to create like a geometric pattern, and you set an intention for those crystals, for that grid. You put them in a geometric pattern, and then you can use that energy for an intention. This is for the growth of my business. This is for the health of my children or the health of myself. This is to attune to more love. So that kind of grid work with your crystals might take a little bit more research on your part, but it is something that is used with crystals as a, you know, as a general as a general piece of information. Also, you can use different shapes of crystals. There's raw crystals, and then there's tumbled crystals. You know, it's all smoothed out. I never see, you know, you can look at many different opinions that tell you which one is better. I always think it's about the vibration of it. It's not about whether or not it is tumbled or not. A couple things when shopping for crystals. Excuse me. Shopping for crystals online can feel like, oh, I can't touch them, I can't see them. But there are a few online shops that are so personalized that they actually will kind of know, all right, I'm picking this crystal out for this customer. And so they use their intuition to pick a crystal out when you buy one. And also when you go online, you want to ask your heart or your heart to say, ooh, yes or no. Like if it's too confusing, if you think like, oh, I've read the description, I need this, but it doesn't feel right, you feel like you have to get it, usually not a good intention to buy a crystal. You always want to buy a crystal by the way it feels, either loving, helpful, joyful, creative, or fun, or even helpful. Anything that's of a positive vibration in the energy of love. But if it feels like, oh, I need this, like I should get this, I have to get this, like that little bit of like tension, always wait. Because your energy will always tell the crystal whether or not it should come home with you. Now, online, it's a little bit more difficult, but I have gotten crystals online and loved them before. When you go into a crystal shop, most people pick crystals by the way they feel. So when you pick up a crystal and you hold it in your palm, you can sometimes feel the vibration. Now, if you have a crystal, you can try that now. Just close your eyes and hold it in one of your palms. I usually put my other palm over it. And I just take a deep breath and I just focus my attention on the crystal. And for me, I'm very sensitive to them, so I will feel them in my aura. at first I always felt them in my hand. I felt like a weird vibration. And when I would pick up a different one, it would either be faster, higher, lower, based upon my interpretation of that. So I'm going to shut up for a second and let you just concentrate a little bit more. Okay, great. Now that's the first step for the exercise that we're going to do later too. So just keep that in mind when we tune our crystals to work with us. But when you're shopping for one and you feel that vibration, you can also feel whether it is using your intuition, whether it wants to come home with you or not. If it feels like, oh, wow, you know, like you get that a little bit of excitement, is probably a crystal for you. Now, don't, go like, oh, the biggest crystal, it's, $1,000 crystal, this huge one, it wants to come home with me. It may feel really good to you, but, stay within your budget, because one of the jokes about people who collect crystals, it's like, they can't stop. It's like, oh my gosh, once you get a few crystals, you want to keep buying more. So that's how you can choose a crystal. I always look up like what kind of thing that I may need help with, and I go to a crystal associated with that chakra. Does anybody not know about chakras? Okay, good. So I go to like something within that chakra, and I look at several crystals with that color associated with that chakra, or I look at the different descriptions, because whenever you go into a crystal shop, they'll usually have short descriptions. There is a website that I really love. It has one of the most comprehensive descriptions for crystals on there. It's called healingcrystalsforyou.com. The website itself isn't the most advanced, like new design of website, but their crystal library is amazing. And so that was my go-to for a long time. And then, so I would look at the descriptions of that, and then hold the crystal and see whether it was the right kind of crystal for me. I have all different kinds. I don't work with them all the time. And so when I collected a lot of smaller tumbled ones, I started to give them to clients and to other people that I would feel like, ooh, you need this crystal. Like sometimes you buy a crystal and somebody comes around it and you're like, oh, I want to give this crystal to somebody. And I don't know why, because that crystal is like literally asking for that move. And that's something weird. I don't know if I want to get too much into it, but that's something that I found that is really fun working with crystals, because they want to be given as gifts as well. And that's why I say they almost have like personas. They have a frequency that resonates with different things. And that's why you want to when you connect with a crystal, you want to sensitize yourself to them a little bit so that they work really well with your chakras. Some crystals can take you way too high. I have one called Moldavite on, and that is probably one of the most highest frequency crystals. And so to feel them is to know whether or not they'll work good for you. A lot of people who use Moldavite for the first few times, they get sick. They literally can't take the high vibration. They get headaches, they get overwhelmed. And so they have to work with it. They can't wear it on their body for too long. They have to use it in small, increments, or just meditate with it. So that's why it's important to check the vibration of them. The other thing is to then tune your crystals to your energy. Once you bring them home, you cleanse them. Actually, all right, so the second step is to cleanse them. You can always charge your crystals. The most popular way to charge your crystals is under the full moon, bringing them either to a window that has access to the full moon light. Even if it's cloudy, it works. Or, putting them in a special container in your yard or whatever and letting them sit overnight. That charges the crystals. Whenever I do that, I feel like the crystals just got bathed and cleansed, and they have a stronger, cleaner frequency. So it feels stronger. Some people say you don't have to clean your crystals, but once in a blue moon, like literally a blue moon. And then other people say do it every month, do it every week. I always say, depending on how much you work with them or how long ago you worked with one. So I say use your intuition about that if you work with them often, because they can hold on to energy too. They can hold on to energy. There are certain crystals that don't need to be cleansed. And again, those opinions vary. So that's why I always say, listen to yourself. If it feels heavy or if it doesn't feel like it's working like it used to, give them a cleanse. A cleanse can be with sage. So I have here that I really like, but it's rare to find. Dragon's blood sage. It's just got like a resin on it. And this is sage that I use. You burn it and you put it underneath the crystal, and you just use your intuition to when you think it's cleansed. Or I have things like sprays, and I usually find them at crystal shops that you can have. If you don't like burning smoke in your house, there are different sage sprays, or even like essential oil sprays, things that you can use other than smoke. And so for me, this is one that has like different essential oils and sage and like sage in it, so that I don't always have to burn sage and have the smoke in the house, because my little doggies are sensitive to it. So, and when you clean them, it's always good to reprogram them or set the intention. Now, a lot of people, if you look online, will tell you you can program your crystals. I'm going to teach you how to tune them to your heart so that they work naturally with what your heart knows to be true for you, right? As we talked about earlier, the heart has the highest and most intelligent frequency, for your now moment. And so when I tune it to my heart, I don't always have to know what the crystal is doing, except I feel all of a sudden connected to it. It feels calmer. I resonate with it. So, any questions so far? Yes, Lauren C.
Yeah, thanks. So 2 questions. So one is, can you also use other crystals to like cleanse crystals?
Yes, that was one of the ones I was going to show you. So selenite. Okay, you can use selenite. Selenite is like an all-purpose crystal. It's like a cleanser. This is what I call selenite wand. Sometimes I'll just clean my aura after doing a lot of readings or energy work with it. This is one of the crystals that doesn't ever have to be cleaned. I mean, like I do anyway, just to, might as well, it's sitting there, right? But these are one of the ones that actually hold a higher frequency and cleanse. So I'll put other crystals on top of that. I have, some selenite bars there and over there where all my crystals are. And so I just keep them. I also put selenite in the corners of my home to create that grid that I was talking about earlier. And so I put selenite in each corner of my home to hold like that higher frequency grid. And so selenite can be used for so many different things. So that's one of the things that I could use to cleanse my crystals. When I put it, you can also use, there's certain things that I don't go over. Like one of the things you could do is put a crystal in salt overnight, sea salt overnight. And sea salt will cleanse. You can also use sea salt in the corners of your home to clean the energy in your home. It's like a little pinch. It's like in like an old tradition, but I tried it a few times and I liked it. It did work. So I also have like Himalayan salt bowls. I keep my pendulum in there to cleanse the energy after I use it. And, after a while, you got to throw the salt out. Be careful with that because there are a few very soft mineral crystals that can break down in the salt. So I always like the sage. It's always safe. You also can run them underwater. Water is very cleansing to them, but then again, there are certain crystals that will break down in water. So if you're going to use any of those methods, you want to make sure that the crystal that you're cleansing is appropriate for that cleaning method. The safe ones are sage, selenite, and the moon. Now, anything else? That was a good question. Okay. So the does anybody have any crystal that they want to know about? Like, is there a certain type of crystal that you have that you want to know about? Like, let's make this a little bit fun, or something that, what kind of crystal would I use for this situation? Does anybody have anything like that? You can think about it and ask me later.
I've got an amethyst. So I'd
Ooh.
like to know about this crystal. I was drawn to this. I don't use crystals much. I just don't know much about them, but I'm really interested in it.
Okay, cool. So amethyst is a third eye and crown chakra crystal. Can I ask you what your zodiac sign is? What your astrological sign?
I'm a Taurus.
You're a Taurus. Very cool. So very grounded energy Tauruses are. And very methodical. Amethyst would give you the like sensitivity of the third eye. It would probably let you feel a lot more calmer. It's really good for emotions. It's actually really good for dreaming. So if you put amethyst under your pillow, you can have really lighter dreams. You can ask your guides to come with you, give you messages during your dreams. Amethyst helps you sleep. It helps to gently open the third eye. There are some crystals that are very like, whoa, like, you know, it opens the third eye, but I love amethyst for that because it's a gentle opening and it helps to balance the third eye so that you seek the love and the truth and the creator aspect in what you see through the third eye. So it cleanses the third eye too. You can use it to like, you know, kind of wash off any debris of your third eye. If you've been like using your third eye too much, or there's blocks in your third eye, amethyst can help you with that. And it can also help you connect the third eye to the crown. The crown chakra is where you get divine guidance from. It's where you are connected to your God, your soul aspect. Coming through the crown, you have divine guidance and wisdom, and the third eye can connect with that. And when you use the third eye to dream, you can actually set intentions for your dreams with that crystal as well. And when you have intentions for your dream, you can actually like bathe in the frequency of that intention, which is like a shortcut, like almost like a shortcut, but like almost like a really simple way to set your intentions for the next day as well, so that you wake up in that frequency.
Oh, awesome. I have another question about cleaning. I've heard that just putting them in the sun. What do you think of that? And is that an effective method?
I don't think it's as effective, but if you set the intention, like to me, it's a charging of light, of like extra light for them. Like, but when they're heavy, like when they've been used a lot, I always feel like cleansing them first and then charging them in the sun.
Thank you.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was told to get malachite, that it was going to help me with the coronavirus. So I went and got a malachite ring, but they didn't say that if you get water on your malachite and it's on your skin, that it can have like a hazardous effect, which it did. My knuckles like really started hurting, and I was just like, oh my God, like what's wrong? And so as soon as I took it off and stopped wearing it, but I mean, what was it doing? I mean, because I do have a malachite necklace, and I don't know if that's going to do something with my heart, or
it's got sulfur or something in it. So I think that's when it breaks down, it is irritating to the skin. So, but malachite as its properties, it does go with the heart chakra, but it's also really good for blood. So if you have any blood issues and immune system issues, it's good. It's good for like red blood cells and regulating any blood issues, kidneys and things like that, anything that goes through the organs. So it could, and it is good for immune system. It's one of the first crystals that I bought that has like almost medicinal properties to it. It's very healing. It's very protective.
Can I wear the necklace then?
Sure.
It's not going to touch my skin, like, because that malachite ring actually touched my skin, and this one's got gold that's, you know, so it's not up against my skin, because when you perspire, I'm thinking that, you know, you're going to get that same reaction of the water and all that. So it's safe for me to wear the malachite necklace then? I do have,
it is,
like,
because you're only straight, like you're, oh, sorry.
I have thyroid issues. So, you know, I was thinking, would that be a good necklace to wear for thyroid issues?
It could be. And for thyroid issues, I would look at more like anything for the throat chakra, like blue and higher heart. So anything blue-green would be really good
Okay.
for you too.
Like this right here, this.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. All right. Okay, good. It's like I naturally.
Yes.
Okay, that's weird. Okay, all right.
I love that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Like that's why I say, like, when you use you're able to like tune into the heart, it's almost like, ooh, when that instinctual, like when you love something, you feel good about it. You might have think, oh, it's beautiful, I want to pick it up, but you had a resonance with it. And that's why I say, like, don't do it under tension or like, ooh, I need it, because then your mind is getting in the way. Like, that ego sense, of, ooh, I need this crystal, like that gets in the way. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad for you, but it just like, to really resonate with you, you go with the heart, the guidance, that intuition.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay. How long have I been talking? Am I going on too long? Because I can talk all day about this stuff, seriously. So
No, it's good.
You have plenty of time. Yeah.
Cool.
We're going till 11:30, so it's 10:40 now. So.
All right, cool. So does anybody work on computers all day or have to be on their devices all day? Okay. I just got a bunch of these because, and I put them in, these are shungite pyramids, and they come in different shapes. Pyramids are a very like strong geometric shape that holds energy really well and just like brings it out around your area. Shungite is known to reduce like almost all of, like, it reduced the radioactivity in your devices, all the 5G talk we've been talking about. It helps to absorb that. I really love, like, I felt it immediately when I started putting them around my workspaces, and around the computers, around my kids' computers. So, because I'm like, oh gosh, they were doing so much online stuff, plus school online too. And I always worried about it, because you have you get the phones, everything going all the time. And so I really try not to make choices from fear, but I really enjoy the way this grounds me and kind of like clears up my energy. It is a huge negative energy absorber, right? So that's kind of how I use this, and it's just one of my favorites, and I really love it, and I thought I would share it with you. It's called Shungite, Shungite. Rose quartz is always one of the go-tos. I think everyone who's into crystals should have a rose quartz that they work in, like that they work with and tune into the heart. I love rose quartz. Like I said, it has, to me, the softest but most personal vibration. So it's very self-loving. It brings like a softness to the self and always helps to balance the heart. Because again, if the heart is what balances the rest of your energy field, then I always think, well, anything that balances the heart is going to help the rest of my energy field anyway. So amethyst is also a really, really great one when you're meditating, when you want to work on your third eye. It's another one that's one of the most popular crystals, but that's because it works. That's because it's really full of like, almost like energy of higher guides. Like you can connect to your guides and angels that way. Selenite is good for everything. Clear quartz. Now, a lot of people poo-poo clear quartz because like, oh, it's boring, blah, 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 blah. But there you go. It can be programmed or set for intention for almost anything, is one of the highest frequencies, and it can enhance whatever vibration that you assign to it. And so it's the most versatile, it's the most programmable, and it can enhance anything that you assign to it. So if you use it with rose quartz, it can enhance the rose quartz, you know, like that vibration even more. Clear quartz is used in so many different things, even technology, that it has such a amplification of energy. And so clear quartz should be cleansed regularly when you use it. And as much as I say, oh, you got to cleanse, you really can cleanse it too with just light. Like if you have a really strong imagination and clairvoyance and you want to send light to it, you literally can bathe that in light, and then, you know, release anything that doesn't feel like love for that particular crystal, and the light will intend for you to work with it because you're using your intention for it. So that's actually, spirit just dropped that in my head to tell you guys. So that can be one way that you tune your crystal to your third eye. Now let's get to the exercise, and then we'll talk a little bit more about different crystals, different ways to use them, and any questions that you have. So the exercise to tune your crystal to your heart is pretty simple. I like to keep, like if you have a pen or a paper, you can do this now. But if you're going to do it with several crystals, like you always want to keep a little bit of a journal, or journal what you get from them. So when you take a crystal, and then if you are intuitive and you get messages or downloads easily, you can say, what is this crystal? You tune into it, you thank it for being with you. I always give thanks and appreciation, and you ask, what is this crystal good for? You know, always ask in the positive way. How can this crystal assist me? Any question that feels good to you, but in the positive. And you might get a physical sensation where it might help you on your body. You might get just an intuitive hit about it, a knowing, depending on your clairvoyance, clairaudience, sentience, whatever you use, it will probably come through that clair the strongest. And then, and I write that down and I say, thank you. So you first tune in, feel the vibration, thank it. Second step, ask what it can be used for. What's the highest and greatest good? And then you're going to situate yourself in your heart. You're going to bring attention to your heart chakra. And then you're going to ask the crystal to communicate with your heart energy. And then write down any feelings, emotions, images, sense how it has given you a message, because crystals can also give you a message. And I loved that part when I discovered I can do that. So your crystal can actually give you a message. A lot of times my crystal has told me, you need more iron in your food. You need more iron in your blood. And I'm like, what? You told me that? And sure enough, I did. So, of course, that's a medical issue, but you can say like, you need rest. You need to, like anything that you get will give you a message because it's working directly with your heart. So I'll shut up so you can concentrate.
Does anybody have any questions while we're waiting? And you can put them in the chat if you don't want to say them, or if there's anything if you weren't able to get her attention.
Okay. Lauren's website, if I Google her name, I can find it.
I don't know. I think so. Google her name. Yeah, I forgot what it's called.
Okay. All right, I'm going to sign off so I can be organized and calm for my session. But
okay.
Please thank her for me.
Sure. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Rebecca, we'll have to ask Lauren to give us her website. Maybe we could, like you did with the Crystal website, just type it into chat and we'll have it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a crystal that was programmed by a guru, an Indian guru, around a fire pit. There were people around a fire pit for a week, chanting, throwing in roses and oil and whatnot. So I'm wondering if I mix my own lower vibration with this, am I going to, you know, get rid of some of the higher vibration that's been programmed into this?
So yeah, Lauren, now that you're back, I don't know if you heard Diane's question.
I have a
I didn't,
No,
sorry.
a crystal that was programmed by an Indian guru during a week when people sat around fire pits chanting for hours a day, throwing roses in and incense and all kinds of things in the fire pit. So it has a very, very high vibration, and I'm wondering if I play with it with my lower vibration, am I going to nullify what's been programmed in here?
No, because that high of an intention sits within the crystal as part of its life force. You know, and I know that sounds a little bit like highfalutin, but to me, what you just described and the way it feels to me, can you hold up the crystal for me again so I can see it in the camera?
It's a pink quartz.
So immediately, if I tune into that.
Pardon?
So immediately, if I tune into that, it has a very balancing, loving, earthy, grounded, healing quality. It's not just grounded, it's healing. So it's meant to help transmute or connect you to that energy. So if you have lower vibrations, I mean, the only way you could ruin that is if you decided you wanted to, you know, misuse it in any way. You know what I mean? Which is obviously not the case. So to me, it has a very beautiful, and it's almost like part of its life force energy. It knows that that's its purpose. And so if you need to cleanse it, you just cleanse any stuck energies in it. You don't reprogram it. Does that make sense? Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let's see. So thank you for your patience, by the way, everyone else. I did not want that to be on the recording, so I had to negotiate with him to come back a little bit. So he's coming back later, and we don't have to deal with, because he was going to trim the bushes like literally right in front of my window right now. So we got to the second part of the exercise. The second part of third part. So you asked what the message was. That's one way that your crystal can give you guidance based upon how it's resonating with your heart. Because as soon as you open the heart and you're in the crystal already, you're already tuned into the crystal, it can give you information from the heart and resonate with how it can help you. And that's how you're tuning it into your energy field. And so at the end of that exercise, all you needed to do was bring the crystal to your heart, like physically, and bless it with the energy of your heart. And that's how you tune your crystals to yourself. Because once you've asked it a question, you know how it works with you, it's been able to give you an answer or help you somewhere in your energy field. You've gotten some kind of intuitive answer from it. or energy shift from it. Then you bring it to your heart, you bless it, and it's tuned into you and can be used in that way anytime after that, because you've programmed it to be healing to what your heart asked it to help you with.
So then can I ask, and forgive me if I missed it when I got disconnected, does that then change over time, or is that then the use for that crystal for you?
Well, since it is working with your energy, if you like heal that thing, or you don't need it for that purpose anymore, you can always ask it again. Like, you can ask it what it wants to tell you or what it wants to work with you on. And if that changes, it's because you're already tuning it to how you work with it, to how your heart is talking with it. It's already synced up. So does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. So, and the other exercise was really about like changing the energy of it. So if somebody had a crystal before you and you needed that crystal because, you need that crystal and you had to cleanse it from wherever it was. Your crystalline light body can also be tuned into those crystals. So I'm going to start over. Sorry, my dog is distracting me because she wants to go out again, and I feel so bad that I keep getting distracted from outside influences. Dee Dee, you gotta wait. That's Dee Dee. So in your crystalline light body, now this is something I didn't do in the last workshop, and I feel is specific to you guys. In your crystalline light body, you're going to connect with how you receive light through the crown and connect to the earth. So we're going to do that exercise in just a second, because I'm going to let my dog out because she's going to whine until I do. And I apologize for this. I usually don't have much trouble when I'm going live and teaching. This is unique for today. Okay, I apologize. You never want that to happen when you're talking to a new group of people. Like, if it's somebody you've been talking to for a while, you're like, okay, guys, I gotta go take care of this. So I'm like, oh God. But so your crystalline light body, that is your higher chakra system above the crown and the chakras that are below your feet in the earth. Those two chakras, the soul star chakra and the earth star chakra, are really holding more light energy in our systems today than they were several years ago, or even a few months ago, because of how the earth has shifted. So what Gaia is telling me, what Spirit's giving you right now, is to help you tune into those two chakras, and you'll actually feel more guided to work with your crystals more intuitively. So that if you do leave this workshop and decide, oh, I want to work with more crystals, you're going to see how it affects your energy field much more quickly. Because when you download that energy from the higher chakra system and the lower chakra system, you have more of a crystalline light body that can tune into the crystals easier. So what I'm going to do is ask you to close your eyes. A little extra bonus. I didn't know we were going to do this today, but close your eyes. And if you approve, always give your permission. But what you're going to do is bring the energy of the crystalline body to your heart. So whatever that looks like to you, your third eye might show you a big geometric shape, maybe some light, a higher frequency should come into your energy field. And your crystalline light body gets activated just by your intention to activate the higher chakra system, which is the 10th, 11th, 12th, and above chakras. Those chakras can balance your earth body and hold more crystalline light in your third eye. So when you use your third eye to manifest or to create something new, you'll be able to manifest it through the imagination, through the higher realms of creation, and eventually tune that creative ability into our reality, where it starts to become faster and faster, created. So your creative abilities tune into the higher chakra system, and they come into the third eye. Whatever you manifest comes into the heart. And then now you're going to see that light body come all the way down into your feet. And what you're going to see next is light coming up through the ground into your feet, holding on to the earth with such love, such compassion for being here, such the Christ consciousness grid filling you up with such love, holding your body in the truth of who you are, and grounding that light body into the earth. And now your crystalline light body is in sync with the crystalline core of Gaia. And now your crystals should be able to tune to you almost automatically. And just thank you, Gaia. Thank you, Source Energy, God Energy. And thank you to our higher selves. And that's it. So if that was helpful to you, wonderful. I hope you enjoyed that. That was something that just I was inspired to give as a result of talking about all this energy and knowing that for whatever reason, this group was really wanting to ground their crystalline light bodies into the earth. So, okay. Well, I have what I was going to teach about pretty much covered. And I would love to talk to you about like any of your questions. I can show you more of my crystals, different things that I've used. However you want to go forward.
Oh, I had a question. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I use I'm an esthetician, and I like to use crystals during my service. And I was wondering if you can tell me how I can better do that. I mean, I'm using a crystal that I have. I usually use blue kyanite, and I put it on their heart chakra. I feel compelled to do that when I'm trying to move some energy. So should I be doing something special to that to use it on someone else?
Actually, kyanite is one of the few crystals that you don't have to cleanse very often, if at all. Since you're using it with your clients, the only thing I would do is cleanse the room that you're working in.
I always do.
I wouldn't need to cleanse that. Yeah, cleanse that room and just like maybe grid it with some crystals in the corners.
Okay. Are there any other crystals
did I interrupt you?
That are kind of universal to?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were asking that. Yes, heart, rose quartz, always. What you're doing with blue kyanite is probably cleansing the heart, the higher heart energy and the throat chakra. So we get a lot of like toxins and like, everything in there, right? So that's what it feels like it does for your clients and why you feel, guided to do that. The only thing I saw when you were talking was using like a crystal wand. Hold on a second. Something like this, like it has rounded and it's smooth, and it can be like used to like drain and like softly with like oils and stuff. And I would use like a rose quartz or something heart-based. Actually, I'm not seeing anything in particular, but except moving, almost like moving energy down their body, almost sweeping it, either with your hands or with, I have blue kyanite, but I use black kyanite for that.
Yeah,
and
black.
Sweep it down the body. almost, and bring it to earth for that transmutation process. And so I see you sweeping, I see you possibly using wands, or even putting, so this shape is a palm stone, or even putting palm stones. Two palm stones that I like to use that feels right, like around right for you. My other palm stone is in my room. I have a selenite palm stone and a smoky quartz, and putting them in each hand balances the energy, like the yin and the yang energy.
Selenite and smoky quartz?
Yeah. Or you can do crystal, or like clear quartz and smoky quartz, whichever one you prefer. And that's it. That's all I'm getting for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when we did the exercise at first and you had to hold the crystal and close our eyes, I got like tremendous heat build up in my hand and sort of like shooting all up and down my body. So what do you think that means, and how do I
Which crystal was it? What kind of crystal?
It was a chrysocolla.
Chrysocolla?
That right? Yeah.
That's a healer. So right when you said heat in the hands, I said, all right, that's a healer. So I feel like you're a healer. And what's that? And chrysocolla is of the heart, but it's also a very healing crystal. It brings like awareness to sometimes emotional pain or sometimes physical pain, but it brings like self-love and self-healing to you. So if you felt that heat, it was actually activating your palm chakras, and your palm chakras were activated, which tells me you're probably generating a lot of healing energy for people. I don't know what you do for a living, or if but if you've been meditating or working on all this, like your palm chakras have been activated, and it comes from the heart. So that feels really good.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah, that's super exciting.
Do you do Reiki?
I do human design.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. But just in general, I have been like, as Rebecca knows, just like the awakening is just like on fire everywhere. So it's just like super, super exciting.
I just started, I'm into astrology, and I just started reading about, not too long ago, human design. Really, really interesting. I like it.
Oh, good. Well, we'll have to talk after. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Anything else?
When you work with a client and using crystals, what would a session be like?
When I was doing like in-person Reiki sessions, a lot of times I would use a specific set of crystals for each chakra. And if a certain chakra needed to be balanced the other way, let's say the solar plexus was way too strong, then I would use maybe its opposite color, or something that would kind of like bring the that chakra into balance. So if I did something that would elevate its its frequency, it's probably, it might cleanse and balance it, but it's still too strong. So if the issue was that it was like compensating for other chakras, I would concentrate putting stones on chakras that corresponded with the chakras that were weaker, not as strong, and maybe use a balancing color for the solar plexus. If I'm doing intuitive sessions, now I don't use cards anymore, but what I used to do, and what I see a lot of people do, and I love it when somebody does this for me, is that they'll pull cards or do a reading and then intuitively connect with certain crystals for that person, so that while they're tuning into that person's energy, those crystals are also activating any guidance and love and healing that you're doing for that client. And so that's why people will intuitively, I'll get she needs smoky quartz, just intuitively connect, and I'll put it down, and connect with that person's energy. And so that crystal can, just like Reiki or any other energy work, can be sent to that client. So that's two different ways that I would, either physically or intuitively use those crystals.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anything else?
Lauren, what is your website?
Soulfultransformations.com.
Okay, I'm going to type that in here. Soulful Trans. Did I get that right? Do you see
Yes.
that? Soulfultransformations.com. And then, so you have all of your services listed there, and you do a lot of, you have a lot of programming on a website that Kristen Norton talked about. What is that website that?
Well, I can send you that. Like, it has, I'm working on like transferring my courses to a different platform. So I'm in the middle of that right now. And so everything's like being updated, but right now it starts actually tonight, but I'm taking registrations all week. I have, it's called Body of Love, and it's for tuning into that 5th dimension frequency that we just kind of did, that heart frequency, but it's based on the health and the healing of the mind, body. And we're going to focus a little bit on weight, food addictions, fear around body image, and healing those things. I think for women, that's really part of like undoing the shame that we hold in our lower 3 chakras, so that we don't have to always go on the up and down cycle of awakening. That a lot of women hold shame in their lower 3 chakras, and this is one way that we clean that. Body of Love focuses on the body, but this particular course is utilizing like the health and wellness of the body and its particular set point. So our source DNA has a code for our body's natural set point, and we're using that instead of like, you know, the ideal body. And so that when we tune to our natural set point in health and well-being, our body naturally knows what we need to eat and do, and we undo some of the shame cycles and beliefs that cause us to fear food, fear body, fear health, and create lack of light in the body. Even when we're healthy, we can cause ourselves blocks in certain areas, like even when we eat healthy and we have those intentions. So that's kind of what that course is, but that's not on the website. And also, what else did you ask me? I'm sorry, I think I went off on a tangent.
Yeah, so Body of Love, is that bodyoflove.com, or is just the name of your course? Can you
It's just the name of my course.
So you can get this on soulfultransformations.com and learn about it.
No, that's why I was explaining, because you can only get it on that other website, and I can send that to you. Hold on, give me.
Yeah, you want to type it in the chat, or
yeah,
I can type it. Hold on just a minute.
Will, you need to get up and pick the dog out. I'm in the middle of
that's where you can register for the course. And I also do like weekly, and you can find it on my webpage, like how to connect with my Facebook page. I do videos, I upload them to YouTube, but I do weekly Facebook live videos on the current energy and how to deal with it. So if you're interested in that.
Okay. Yeah, type that in here. Okay. Anybody else have any questions while we're here?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I have one more actually.
Yeah,
Sure. I've learned to clear crystals by putting them underwater.
Uh-huh.
And then when they're under running water, to program intentions into them. Is that something that you would recommend?
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about that as one way to clean them and then set the intention. But the caveat to that was make sure that those particular crystals aren't sensitive to water, and that that it's room temperature. It's not too cold and it's not too hot, because you don't want, like selenite, you can't clean with water. And so there's certain crystals that you can't and should not use water for.
Thank you.
Anything else? Well,
I really enjoyed this, and again, thank you for putting up with all my little mishaps, my whiny dog and my lawnmower guy, but I really enjoyed this, so thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and we have your information. So we really, really appreciate it. I love the meditation you did with us to bring in the light and learn so much. So really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody. It should be on the website, hopefully within a week or so. So check it out. And if anybody of your friends missed it, we tell them to go to our website. Okay. Bye.